Warning. The following video contains spoilers for the inner workings and behind-the-scenes processes of the Project 863 series. If you do not wish to be spoiled on future or past videos, nor have the spell of the series broken, you have been warned.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Behind 863 podcast. It's the podcast where we talk about the behinds the scenes of Project 863 or Matthias Channel or whatever your heart might want to call it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, what do you call us?
Yeah.
Besides dumb, stupid, ignorant. Just point that
Are
out.
those comments you're reading?
Yeah.
Just balled up.
You're just assuming?
My holidays were great. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, we're back. Woo!
Woo, it's 2022.
Two.
Yeah.
I keep saying 2020. I
What?
literally, and apparently Chanel, she empathized with me on this because like I just keep going like happy 2020 because like my brain doesn't think that there should be three like sounds, you know, like 2021, 2020, 2019, but now it's 2022.
Feels
like,
unnatural.
It feels so wrong.
Yeah.
So I keep saying happy 2020 to people.
Joe Biden said 2020 and everybody freaked out over
Uh,
it.
yeah, well, hey,
Come on.
I said it
Give the
too.
guy a break at least on that. It's like that just takes me back to high school when I was like, you know, that like New Year just happened and then it's like
Yeah.
it's just what turned to 2021 or something. And you're
Yeah.
like, right, 2019. You're like,
It feels like
Like,
it's
it's
been
not even-
2020 for 2 years.
it's not even last year. Like, why did I put that number down?
Yeah. I get it.
Well,
I
that's
did
gonna
it.
be me for the rest. I kind of had this really weird realization of I'm turning 27 this year. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. When's your birthday?
Yeah, exactly. See, that's not a normal. If I would have said I'm turning 23, I'd have been like, oh, cool. But 27 is like, oh,
That's like,
you're
you're an
clocking
adult.
into the end of your 20s.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say the end of your life. And I was like, Tanner, come on.
27 is, 27 Club could be me.
27?
Oh, that's
Oh,
true.
God.
But yeah, so I had this realization. Like I started working here at 21. Now I'm turning 27.
Whoa, that's
That's
crazy.
crazy.
Isn't that weird to think
Yeah.
about?
That's
Yeah.
like a whole lifetime.
Turning 27. Wow.
Well,
It's
wait,
kind
when's your
of
birthday, Tanner?
June 7th. So I'm
Okay,
like
so you got some
halfway there.
time.
But it's definitely got that weird feeling to it where it's like, yeah, you ever seen Rick and Morty and you ever seen that episode with Roy? Was that what it's called? The game, the little video game they play where it's called Roy, where it's the whole video game is like you go into it, it's like and you start living the life like from birth of another
yeah,
person
yeah, yeah.
until they die,
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
and then you come out of the video game and you're like, I kind of feel like I'm in that mode where it's like I kind of just blacked out and turned 27, and I'm like looking back, I'm like,
What happened?
what happened to my life? Like, and I just had this feeling because it just keeps going faster. Like, I feel like I moved to Vegas like maybe like 2 months ago. Feels
Yeah.
like almost. It's going on 2 years, and I'm like,
Crazy, 2 years?
well,
Whoa.
this next year, yeah,
Yeah.
over
Wow.
like a year and some change, over a year.
That's a
going on
lot of
year.
miles on your car.
Dude.
That's
It's
true.
60,000, and I left at 20,000. So
Actually,
Holy cow.
60,000 doesn't feel that
Does
like
not
that
feel that
much.
much,
Yeah.
yeah.
for a Honda Civic too. I'll drive that thing forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I don't
yeah.
know why. The jump from 26 to 27 feels huge. I don't know why. Like 26 feels like, oh, you're still pretty young. And then
27
like,
feels like
you're
you
old.
should have everything figured out.
Yeah.
27
It's like,
feels like married in a house. Like,
Well,
and that's not always the
That's
case,
Tanner.
obviously. Like, a lot of the members of the cast of Friends, their characters, like, were in their 30s and, like, weren't
Did you
married
just
and
do
everything.
a Woods thing? Remember how Woods in that one podcast was like,
With the
it was like
King Kong.
referencing, like proving a real life situation by a fictional moment.
Yeah.
Which is like, yeah, but remember King Kong? Like, Sam just went, yeah, 27. Remember in Friends, the
When,
show?
like, they were all in
All
their
the
30s at a certain point, and only, like, 2 of them were married.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
were losers.
Well,
We
at
just
least
looked up to
Tanner's
them.
engaged.
yeah, Tanner's on
Baby
the right
steps,
path.
right?
Yeah.
Can't wait to be I'm going to be a dad soon, not now.
Oh,
But think about that. In the next 3 years, I'll probably have a kid.
what?
What?
That's crazy.
So strange.
I mean, not that that's like not a good move for you, but that just makes me feel so
No, yeah, because you
weird.
remember
big
like
life
back when
move.
I was like 21.
Yeah.
I
You
couldn't even
have
spell
a
kid.
beard, dude. You were
Yeah.
just like
Yeah,
I had
like
a
you were just like
face.
I had a
naked
goatee.
face, naked face Tanner.
Goatee Tanner was
Yeah,
the worst
goatee
version.
Tanner.
Wait, actually, just a goatee by itself?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was so bad. Oh my gosh. I can't even believe I went through that phase. I can't believe no one shaved it off of me.
See, I
for
didn't
me.
mind that. I didn't mind it at all. I thought
man.
it suited you.
Well,
because you love me no matter who I am, and I appreciate
That's
that.
Yeah,
nice.
that's
The
true.
beard's the move.
But I would have told you.
Yeah.
I would have been
you
honest.
asked.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just never asked.
Yeah, and I'm glad I didn't.
No, I would have
The
told
heartbreak
you
would have hurt.
whether you asked or not. I would have been like, hey,
The kind of condescending, like,
get rid of that.
yeah, bro.
You're still single. You need to get rid of it.
Not for you, bro.
Bring
You
it
can't
back.
settle yet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you can bring it back.
Yeah. Imagine Haley be like, yeah,
Wedding's
about
off.
pictures. We're not taking them together. So, another realization I had: I graduated 2013, and it's 2022.
Dude.
10-year anniversary is next year from high
High school or college?
high school.
Oh, I was like, wait, did you go to college?
No.
Wait, what?
I withdrew from college senior year of it.
yeah, yeah.
I have to say that because, I mean, dropout just sounds a little bit hard to say. And I was like, I dropped out.
Yeah, withdrew. I mean, I dropped out.
I didn't drop out from
Like
bad grades.
hard.
That's why I don't know which one to say. It's like I had good grades.
You just chose to leave.
I literally left.
You broke up with college.
I broke up with college after I got a scholarship to pay off all my debt, which is
Oh.
pretty sick. So they're like, "Hey,
Oh.
we'll pay you and your debt off," and I was like, "Sick."
Oh, great.
And I left like 2 weeks later.
What? That's
They're
actually
like-
amazing.
They're like, wait, no, you gotta make more
They're
time.
like, "What are you doing?"
You gotta
And I was
spend
like,
more
"I
money."
don't know, man.
I'm going to California.
I'm going to
baby.
California
yeah.
to struggle." They're like, "Why? You have like a few semesters. You have like 2 semesters left." I'm like, "Yeah, who cares?"
Well, it all worked out.
Yeah, I would.
Look at
I
you
would have
now.
murdered my son if he did that. I'd been like, "Son, I'm gonna strangle you to death."
Oh, I mean, like, you withdrew. When I say I dropped out, I mean, like, I realized right in the middle of it that, like, oh, I'm wasting my time here.
That's
Wasn't
what I
for
did too.
I
Yeah.
gotta go.
Yeah. It sucks though, just having like I have a year of college under my belt and just debt. I'm like, I have nothing to show for this. Like I could have gone one more year, gotten
You got
a like
camera
a
skill and PA work, right?
well, yeah, but
Yeah.
like in terms of like having an actual degree, like I could have gotten an associate's degree after 2 years. That's what it's called, right?
I don't know, man. I
None of us have it.
I technically didn't finish high school, so
Wow, really?
I tested out. Yeah.
Yeah, Sam
so
started
Sam's
working at
super
16 or
smart.
17.
Yeah. No, well, I mean, it was one of those things where when I moved out here in the middle of my junior year of high school, did online school for like a month, and then California, because of like the entertainment industry and everything, there's a state test that you can take. I actually had to go to San Francisco for it.
Wow.
Just because it's very popular. A lot of people try and get this. And so you could just take a test. It kind of covers a variety of general high school knowledge. You pass it, you get a certificate that's the equivalent to a high school diploma.
Crazy.
And I just said, all right, I'm done.
Wow. That sounds great.
That's kind of.
I hated high schools.
I'm done. I mean, no, it was like it's like cool, but also I technically didn't finish high school, so
Yeah.
it's like I tested out, which sounds like wow, she's so smart, but also the test was not that hard.
But you have a degree, right? Or
Yeah,
like a
that's-
high school diploma?
I mean, I have the certificate that says I passed this test, which is supposed to be
Good
the
enough.
equivalent.
That's all that matters.
Yeah, right?
I mean, like,
and also, what am I even going to need that for? Never once have I been asked for my high school diploma.
No. You
In
could
my
just
life.
say.
I feel like everybody assumes too that you like finished high school. So.
It's
Yeah,
kind of how
that's
you
true.
present yourself too. If you present yourself like you didn't get a high school diploma,
Mm-hmm.
people will be like, "All right, let me check." You know what I'm saying? But if you're going in and like you seem smarter than they are, they're kind of like,
Well,
"Oh."
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I think more so what it is that like your high school career isn't really going to transfer into like any job. Like no one's gonna be like, okay, you're gonna need a lot of high school experience for this job. Let me see your proof.
Yeah, exactly. That's
What do
the
you
one.
know about John Steinbeck, by the way?
Oh, do you know the Pythagorean theorem?
PEMDAS?
You better watch your Pythagoras.
It is kind of messed up that they make that a requirement for a lot of like, just jobs. Like you
normal
must
jobs.
have a high school diploma. Because I was like, I don't know, you're a minor. I feel like that's kind of a
Some
big
jobs you just need
expectation for some
social
people.
skills, like
Yeah. Yeah.
selling.
That's
like-
I think that's the most important thing you're learning in high school.
It's social
Talking to
skills.
people.
But it's like difficult because like, I mean, it really depends on where you're at in the social hierarchy
Yeah, yeah,
of
totally.
high school. But
Yeah.
Well, some people use high school for school, and some people use high school for sociability. You know, some people
yeah,
are like, I didn't do well in
networking.
school,
Yeah,
but
right.
I learned to network, and they're going to do great in business.
I know how to
you
talk
know?
to people.
And there's some
Yeah.
people like crush chemistry, but don't talk to people, and they're going to
Yeah,
do just as good
that's
too.
true.
People are scientists. Yeah.
Yep.
And
Except for the bullies
And then we're
that can
YouTubers. Yeah.
Yeah, we're YouTubers.
Tanner.
And now we're YouTubers.
Uh,
I don't know. Honestly, Honestly, my brain. I don't know what you've planned to talk about on this podcast, but my brain was about to just go into high school and go like, so were you guys popular in high school, or like what was your high school experience?
Isn't that
I
a funny
wasn't.
thought? Yeah, no, same.
I was a loner, and then I went to OFL, and then I was popular.
What's OFL?
Oh, funny.
Is that like
It's a
NFL?
charter school.
That's
Oh.
I had like a similar experience of like the first high school I went to my freshman year was just massive, and I was most definitely not popular. I had like 2 core friends. We did theater together, like but was
Yeah.
not popular.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, you're fine. And then I changed and went to a smaller kind of like arts-based high school that was like insanely smaller, like the best school ever. Like
Yeah.
when I become a millionaire, like I'm giving so much money to
Aw.
this school.
That's great.
Shout out Renaissance High School, Franklin, Tennessee.
Just shout out high school to our members audience.
But there, because it was so small, like I guess I would have considered myself like popular because like
Yeah.
the
Well,
60 kids in my class knew me. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
Well, and like you have to, in order to be popular in high school, at least my high school, you had to be mean to other people. And I just wasn't,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, not
No one
not
wants
every
that.
kid, but the main popular kids were just mean.
Totally. Yeah.
But like, yeah, when you go to OFL, like, or a charter school or something like that, it's smaller. Well, one thing I really liked about like I don't know why like people hate on charter schools, because like I did fine. Like I performed better in like academically, but like socially I performed way better, because what happens is you go to a charter school and all the surrounding high schools, every school, there's like maybe like 4 or 5 kids picked out of these high schools, and they could be jocks, theater kids, nerds, anything, and they're all dropped in OFL.
Oh, wow.
And so you either socialize or you let your pride get in the way, and you could be a jock, theater kid, or nerd alone.
I like that. It's like
Yeah.
the Hunger Games.
And so you have
I like that.
well, it's like a
that.
big Breakfast Club scenario.
Yeah.
And so like it wasn't the fact that like I was popular. It was like everybody's popular.
yeah, that's
know?
cute. I like
Yeah.
that.
That's really cool.
Well, like, sorry, go ahead.
No, I just to tag on that point. The other weird experience that I had was like when I left the big high school to go to the small high school, and just had a better time there. All of a sudden, the like popular group of kids at the big high school started like reaching out to me, and they were like, come hang out with us before the football games, and like come do this thing and let's hang out. And I was like, sure, I guess, but
Weird.
like why are you trying to like make me popular now that I left?
How strange.
Like it was a very weird experience. I
It's
mean,
weird.
they ended up all being like nice people, but I was also like, wow, like popularity means nothing.
Yeah, how interesting. Well, especially looking back at high school and being like, yeah, that
What- yeah,
literally
none of
doesn't
this
matter
means
at all
anything.
anymore. Wish I had known that back in high school.
Oh, I know.
Because would have felt a little better.
Takes off Letterman jacket. What? There's that guy at like your hometown. He's like 28, still wearing his Letterman jacket,
Yeah.
still going to the football games. Like,
Yeah.
this means everything, man. These are the best days of your life.
Still goes to all the high school games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't go to the school.
Yeah,
God.
hooks up with the moms.
Oh, God.
Oh.
He's that guy.
Jeez.
No,
like that
it's
one,
weird.
Tanner.
Like I'm just saying. You
No,
go, like,
it's-
I went to my first high school game because my younger sister, it's her senior year, so it was like her senior night. She does color guard and everything.
Oh, cool.
I was like, oh, that's so cool. Let's go and see this. I've never really paid attention to any of that stuff, and then I was like, wow, this is beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Super cool. But you go around, you look around, you're like, wow, this is so sad, man. So weird, so strange.
Yeah.
I imagine it's sad everywhere besides like the Midwest or South. Like if you go to like
you went to the school, right?
yeah, I went to the school
You did,
too,
okay.
but like I went to Texas, and like we drove by a football field on Friday night, and it was like a college, bro. It was booming. It was loud. People
Our high school
screaming.
football games were always pretty.
I'm like, I kind of get that at least. Like, it's like a town event. Like, there's also a huge amount of space between each town, so it's like that's kind of the only thing going on. It's,
Yeah.
Small
super weird.
towns, for sure. I can see that being like the fun thing to do on a Friday night. Like,
But
when
like
everyone gets together.
in like California and like Vegas is
Yeah.
kinda
Yeah,
sad.
it really depended on like, well, at least I mean, it was like what 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years ago or something like that. Jeez.
Yeah, you just did the see? That's how this
Yeah,
all
it's
started. I did that too. I was
crazy.
like, oh.
It depended on like the schools that were playing, right? Because everybody wanted to see those rivalries. Everybody wanted to
true.
like people would go to
Centennial High
like
School versus Franklin High School was the big
Oh, we
one
have
for
Centennial
us.
in Vegas
people
too.
just wanted to see like fights, like
Yeah.
not like regular fights, but also like people wanted to yell at the other side. And it was
Yeah.
like that was
There's always, like,
hype.
lots
The
of threats
cheerleader
going around.
standoffs, you know,
Yeah.
when the cheerleaders like go and like try and like
Yeah.
confront each other at like the edge of the field
Yeah.
and like do cheers at each other, and it's like, what are you doing?
And it's just like, I would just always imagine like sitting there, just imagine like their bleachers, all their cheerleaders, and all their football players, and all of our people just like halftime fighting.
Charging.
Just like everyone run, all the parents just running down
The
and just
band
beating.
section is just
Yeah.
like, doo, doo.
Start playing like Rocky music or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be tight.
Well,
Yeah.
it's just a Guardians of the Galaxy movie going on. High school's pretty great. I mean,
Anyways, high school guys.
so that's what my holidays was consisting of, is a lot of reflection on like, wow, it's the new year.
Oh,
and
okay,
I
yeah,
am getting old.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also made a sweet office. You went to Boston. I'm hoping that was great.
Yeah, we got exposed to COVID, so we just sat inside the whole time, unfortunately. But it's negative. We're negative.
yeah.
Hope that was good. It wasn't. Oh, okay.
Well, no, it was really relaxing, and like I realized that I needed a break after it happened, you know. But like, you know, it just kind of sucked to like get on a plane, go across the country, to just sit in a house. But I mean, it was still was nice.
Nice.
That's
It's
good.
fun.
Still
Yeah,
a
it's
nice like
different-
restful break. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
different
yeah.
environment. You know.
Needed a good
different area
rest.
codes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What about you,
Woods.
Woods?
I went to Arizona.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
How's
that
that?
was that
Did you
was
get any of the
really really
tea?
nice.
really.
Tea? No, I didn't get any Arizona tea.
That's where they make it.
I visited my parents' new property, and it was like just in the middle of the desert, in this like little community. So
Wow.
that was really, really dope.
See any animals?
Yeah, yeah.
Like what?
Like birds.
Mm.
Saw some birds. No
Scorpions?
javelinas.
What's javelina?
like
Javelinas
little
are those
dogs?
furry pigs.
Oh, we talked about this last time.
Oh yeah. You brought those up.
Yeah. My mom was really bummed because like every day they walk by the house.
Oh, weird.
And like
You're in
walk
town.
by.
They're like,
that always
the
happens.
bacon eater.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, oh no, dude, guys, we can't go by that house. Woods is here.
Yeah, pretty much.
Cook us.
Do they go by like just on their own? Do they?
Yeah, that's just
travel
like
in
one of their
packs?
paths. There's a huge mountain, like there's like just miles and miles of state property behind their house, and so me and my mom went hiking up there, and we found like this cave. It's not a cave; it was like two rocks, like this.
Okay.
But inside that, the rock teepee was like another little cave.
Oh,
and
that's fun.
yeah.
Scary.
Well, I mean, I actually made a video about it
Oh.
called "Mom," like a hike with mom or something like that.
nice.
It was
Hiking
really
with my
nice.
mom.
Yeah,
Nice.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's sweet.
My mom. And then for New Year's, I went to my dad's, and yeah,
Nice.
Sounds great.
Good stuff all around.
all around.
Good.
about
Oh,
you,
whoa.
Sam?
Sam?
All of your heads turned at me like at the same time.
You're the one that hasn't spoken yet.
Well, I was waiting my turn respectfully. Yeah, my holidays were lovely. I had some family in town, spent some time with my family. My boyfriend's family was also in town, and this is the first time that they've spent Christmas in California.
Did your guys' families meet?
Unfortunately, no, because we also had a COVID exposure scare, and so that thwarted a lot of plans and caused a lot of stress. But Ryan and I ended up negative. His sister did test positive, but she's doing okay.
Good.
But so, you know, kind of the same thing of just spending time with family. I saw Spider-Man No Way Home,
Oh,
which was
yes.
fantastic.
Fantastic
Great.
10
movie.
out of 10. Yeah, like so very just restful. Also started a lot of like home projects,
Oh,
which
like
I was
what?
really like, and even though they kind of feel like work, to me they're really like recharging because I love seeing like a space transform.
yeah. What did
And
you do?
Ryan and I are just working on like redoing our living room
Oh, fun.
because he just has a lot of furniture from like 2016 IKEA that, the pieces are just kind of
It's
falling
time.
apart. Like they kind of feel like college dorm pieces.
Totally, yeah.
And they just were taking so much space. They were just like badly designed for that space. Like they were these big like circular tables that were just like, this is taking up too much space.
Right.
So we replaced a table with a new desk that's like smaller but still pretty, and then we replaced our coffee table with this cool like extendable like rectangular one. We're getting a new couch that
Wow.
I am thrilled about. It's a Joybird couch. I don't know if you're from
Yes.
yeah. And it's like a deep green velvet.
Ooh, I love
and like
that.
very mid-century modern. I'm stoked on it. The
Ooh.
only thing that like kills me is it was supposed to be delivered like next week,
Mm-hmm.
but it got delayed like a month because I didn't realize they build all of their pieces like for each order. They
Yeah.
don't just ship it from a warehouse. And I
Yeah.
was like, I mean, I guess it's like better quality or whatever, but like I want my couch.
Yeah, well, I was looking into furniture from there for the writer's room, and that's
Oh,
how
yeah.
I'm familiar. But yeah, it was same thing. It was just like
It would
super
take a
long
while.
wait. Are you documenting this process by any chance?
No.
Darn.
Should have lost out on content,
know,
I guess.
all
But
good.
no, we actually we originally were going to with a friend of ours who's like a YouTuber and also interior designer.
Ooh.
But a lot of the process was just kind of taking too long, and we've just been so tired of these furniture pieces for so long that we were like, let's go to IKEA
do
now.
it, yeah.
Like we need to like replace these with better pieces, or like let's go furniture shopping. And so that was a big part of my break, but
Nice.
it felt really nice. And
Yeah.
yeah, lots of family, lots of just movie nights, and I had a great New Year's. My friend is a brilliant cook, and so had a little dinner party where we all got super dressed up like it was, the 1920s, just like glam. Had a lovely dinner, and
How
then
fun.
just rung in the new year in a great way. And
Well,
here we are.
Glad we all made it through. you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No
too.
man or woman left behind.
2021.
2021. And 2022 can only be better.
I thought you
Right?
just got the year wrong. I was
I
like,
thought you were
Tanner.
2021. Here we are.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, on that break, we have released since then to now 3 videos, right?
Wow.
Yeah. Let's see if I can remember.
One was the unboxing video on We Are 863. Or that was a separate video. Did we release 4?
No, that was
3.
the third. So we released following.
I can look.
Oh no. I got it. We released going to Woods' apartment, like, and actually going through it, and then that Christmas Eve we released the fan mail unboxing video on We Are 863, and then yesterday we released the contacting the survivor.
Right.
Yes.
So those were the most recent 3 uploads.
So yeah, let's start with
Going to Woods' apartment?
Yeah, we'll go into Woods' apartment.
That was also his goodbye party as well.
Yeah.
Oh yes, Woods' last day / yeah. It's so funny because in my brain, like, I mainly just think about that video as like going through the apartment.
I have just like a general statement to say about these 3 videos because I find it like super interesting, and I want to see what Sam's take is on this too.
Okay,
but,
can't wait.
Specific, like I've just seen so many comments that are saying like I would say like 95% of people are fully in support of Woods in this situation of like him taking the file,
Interesting.
him like leaving like everything, and then like everybody else is just like Matt is turning evil, which like makes total sense. But then it's like, and Sam and Bailey are enabling him, and they are like, making it okay for him to do these things, and like they're on his side. And I'm like, I feel like we're not really.
I know exactly what you're talking about because I have felt a little bit of a struggle of like I feel like a lot of the conflict we've been dealing with is like Matthias or Woods driven, and the most that we can kind of play is like feeling betrayed by one or the other, or
Exactly.
just like confused and like
Yeah.
hurt maybe. And so I feel like that doesn't give us a lot of room in the videos to be like, well, here's what I actually think.
Totally,
Or like,
yeah.
here's what we should do. It's kind of like Matt's the leader, so we're like following him, and like, yeah, Woods lied to us, so like we're distrustful of that.
Yeah.
But it is interesting because from the fan perspective, it's just like Bailey and Sam are just like going along, and it's like I even from the filming standpoint, when we have specific scenes like between Matt and Woods, and like there needs to be a conversation there. Like it's like, well, I don't want to interrupt because like they're in the flow of the scene.
Totally.
What would be something that, like, I don't know if you've read any suggestions for you guys to, I don't know, intervene or anything, but what would you even do?
So like I don't know, it's really weird because like for Sam, like this is something that is like completely unavoidable for her, I think, but like, you know, in when you guys are having your conversation in the party scene, like you and Matt and
Like by the fridge.
yeah, and then Sam, like you noticed the camera or something, and Sam was like, "Oh, sorry." Like I saw a bunch of comments being like, "Why was Sam like eavesdropping?" or something. It's like, what?
They're like,
Yeah, everyone was commenting
they're
like,
like mad that like we filmed the show. We just like, you should have cut this out.
Yeah. Like, oh no. And then like I don't know, there's just like I
it
don't
was
know.
legit. Like, so I looked through the comments on that video, and it's like half
funny.
split, which I find is fascinating. Like half the people are like, wow, like most people are like, wow, this was really like secondhand embarrassing to like kind of watch.
Oh,
all
yeah,
of
that
it.
was like a majority.
Which
I
is
found
totally
so
the vibe.
funny, and that was the vibe. That was intended.
That's what we were
Like,
going for.
Perfect.
So I'm glad
Yeah.
they feel that way. The other people are like totally with Woods, like, man, like this has got to be so bad for Woods. Like, oh my gosh. And the other people are like, wow, what Woods had was kind of dangerous. Like, it's probably like they should be addressing this. Like, it's weird seeing those sides. Just like, yeah, it's such an interesting response to that. One other comment was, everyone, heartwarming message, like when we're all doing our Woods reading, which I thought was hilarious. Like writing our stuff to
Yes.
Woods and reading it in
Yeah,
front
that
of
was
him.
good.
Such a good second embarrassed thing. But everyone's like, Bailey, please stay. Tanner, please leave. And then, like, just like so many funny moments in this
Yeah.
like episode.
That was a good one. I
Oh,
like that
man.
one. I feel like it was a
Yeah.
good like comedic relief episode, that
Yeah.
one. But yeah,
The
but a lot of
awkward
people just
tension.
thought it was like, yeah, really weird.
Yeah, to your question of like what Bailey and I would even like say, I don't even know. My kind of point is like in those conversations, I actually don't think Bailey and I should say anything.
Yeah.
I just think there should maybe be like before that conversation or after that conversation, like a time for like even Bailey to then talk to Matt and be like, what's going on? Like, what was your thought process in that? Like, why are you
Yeah.
doing? And we sometimes we do that when it's like the next day, you know, like after Woods quit or something, we were kind of like, oh, so what do we do? Like, what are we
Right.
figuring this out? And you and Matt were able to have more of like an exchange about it. But yeah, I do think we should find a way to like,
Yeah,
I
well,
don't know, just like find those pockets of time.
Totally. It's really weird because like specifically with yesterday's video, I
The
feel like
contacting the survivor.
yeah, I feel like that touched on a really sensitive topic of trauma and respecting people's trauma. And, you know, because obviously like this woman has been through a lot and went through a lot in this building.
And Matt was like, just get her back here.
Yeah, exactly. And like, you know, so many of the comments were like, that was really disrespectful of Matt to like force him to
Matt
force
got
her to
some
come.
hate in that
Oh
last
yeah,
video.
yeah. Like people were really upset, which like I totally understand because like, you know, that's pretty messed up. Like forcing her to come here.
contextually, like in the context of like what we're trying to accomplish. I feel like that, you know, yeah, she went through a lot of trauma, but we're trying to get something done. You know, we're trying to
And like,
Totally.
she knows she could help us.
Yeah.
yeah. It's not like we're like I don't know. You know, it's not like we're just
Come relive this.
it's not like we're just
We're not gonna,
hassling
like,
a trauma
experiment on
person.
her.
Yeah, like we were desperate.
Yeah.
That's that
was
be
the
point.
play.
Right.
And like, you know, what is this like we're very desperate, but like how are we going to handle this situation in terms of, you know, being sensitive to scenarios and people in that regard, like including me and including the survivor. So I think like
And also,
Yeah.
like,
get over it. You know?
Well, no, but,
Get over
but again, to that point, like this is a show that was supposed to be, that was a beat of conflict.
It was
That
a
was a
point
beat of
to make
conflict.
that.
Like, you know, there are conflicts. There we write conflict beats to, you know, engage the story and move it along and have conflict between characters internally. And that was a conflict beat. Like, so
Right.
that Woods could then come in and be the one to talk to
Interesting. Yeah.
So
right.
he was supposed to like be like, dude, Matt, like you're pushing this too far.
Right. And, you know, I definitely saw that, like, especially in the part where, like, you know, she says she doesn't want to come to the building and he's like, no, we have to do it here. And then you and I are like, can't we do
Why?
it somewhere else? Yeah. But that's like, I don't know. When I watched the episode before it came out, I really wasn't expecting that many people to have, I mean, I don't know. I felt like the response was a lot stronger than I was expecting it to be.
Trauma's a big trigger word for a lot
Totally.
of people, and a lot of people I think insert like themselves into this completely fictional thing that we are portraying for them, and feel like they need to come to the defense of a fictional character as if they were the ones being like put in that situation, which again is a very like human reaction, but
She's not real.
is not the
Well, no, I think
Yeah.
it's a good thing. Like, not that they're not
The
Well, I think
engagement?
the reaction is a good thing. Like, I mean, if it's
Yeah,
not
they're
the
not
conflict,
supposed to-
what are you supposed to respond to in a story? It's
Yeah.
like,
Right.
it's like, are you supposed to respond to like nothing? Like, no, like the whole thing that is relatable about a story like is the conflict. Like, that's the humanity of it, is like, oh, I've experienced this myself. So that's what makes me intrigued and attached to the idea. It's like, you're connecting your own life to what you're viewing in front of you, and what's transformative about it is you see how it's played out in how it's not controlled, but not fixed, but resolved, I guess. You know, it's like, oh, like I have the same conflict and this is how they resolve their conflict. I can get through mine too. Like, that's what's empowering about a
True.
story, right?
Definitely.
And so the fact that this huge loud response is out there is good. Like, that's
Definitely.
awesome, because that means
Yeah.
all of those people, if they watch the next episode, right, or they watch the next few episodes, or they finish the season, they'll see how this traumatizing moment, dealing with trauma, us having to experience trauma, this person who's in trauma, like when we get to that interview scene that you guys just filmed, right, seeing her in person, like, that's gonna hit even harder, like,
Yeah.
because it's like an actual conflict, like, it's actually
Yeah,
like tense.
totally.
It's
And,
not
like-
this like fake boogeyman that everyone's like, oh, that's kind of scary. No, it's like, oh, I feel that. Like,
Okay,
I've
yeah,
been there.
and like you said, it's like it's the desired result, and that's something that I personally forget a lot, because like people being mad at any of us like in YouTube comments naturally feels like a bad thing, but I forget sometimes that like
That's what you
no, that's the beat in the story.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? It's
Well-
like, no, there's supposed to be conflict here, and like, yeah, sometimes people like make it more personal than they need to, but like we want them to sympathize
But
with
the
this
more
I guess
personal
I
they make it,
need
the
more-
harder the flip will be, and that's the
Yeah.
important.
I guess I would need more like clarification, because when I'm thinking of like people blowing up about it, I'm thinking like, are they expressing their feelings about like the story in the story? Like, are they like, yo, that's not the right way to do it, she's got trauma? Or is it like, yo, Matt as a person sucks because like this scene?
kind of both.
Kind of both. People are like, oh my god, I can't believe Matt would be so mean to someone who's been through so much, and it's like,
Yeah.
this is the
But it's
well,
conflated.
I mean, I
Yeah.
agree. I think the engagement is really important, and like you do want to bring up those emotions within your audience. You do want to have that engagement in the comments and have people like debating and
Yeah.
and talking about like what they think is the best and blah blah blah. But I guess for lack of better words, I get triggered when like people on outside of the story personalize with the story and like make it our fault. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
I'm not trying to bring up any sort of anything. I'm just trying to clarify where I get like defensive in that aspect.
I
Do you see how that
completely agree.
feeds each other? Like, that's, I guess, like my thing with it, right, is I don't think we're in a space where you get to have both. Like, yet. I'm not saying it won't ever be there, right? But the only reason what's happening with us doesn't happen like to actors is because it's already agreed upon with everybody that they're actors, right? Unless you're like a 5-year-old.
Yeah, we're
Very
like
true.
in and out of
You're
this.
on a
Yeah.
space where everything's real.
It's
Like,
such a weird reality
there's
too.
nothing.
It is a very
Because
weird.
you're trying to parcel out like or rather filter out like what are the fans feeling IRL, and then what are they feeling IRL but in our story, and then like what we're like half in half out,
100%. Yeah.
and sometimes I'm like,
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It gets you too. That's why I'm saying I think it kind of feeds itself, because like when you do get frustrated with it, like it's normal because you're like half of this is real and half of this isn't, right? Like there's a lot of you are being yourself in a fake world in a sense,
Right.
but also you're still following beats that you wouldn't
like,
necessarily.
I
do.
wouldn't imagine
Yeah,
Matt
exactly.
ever reacting that way towards like someone
No,
with
he would
trauma.
never like
you know,
Yeah, and so that's
It's
why
what's
we get
frustrating having
defensive.
people-
exactly, yeah,
Yeah, because
Um,
we know that about the real
Right.
Matthias.
Definitely. Yeah, right.
But some of them don't. And that's the only reason
Exactly.
why. But the reason some of them don't know is the same reason why is because you're frustrated is because of your reaction, right?
Yeah.
It's like that's my thing. Yeah, it's like that's why I think it feeds itself. Is it's
Yeah.
like
This is a
we
good
don't
topic,
act like
too.
we're just actors. You know, we don't act like Leonardo DiCaprio walking down the street. You know, like no,
Right.
like we also act like it's real. So I don't think it's fair for us to not act like it's like to not take both. You know, in a
Right.
sense, like.
I see what you're saying.
yeah, I get that.
I understand the frustration though, but it's like, I mean, can we really expect like, does anybody make just fictional stuff really on YouTube? That's like,
Yeah,
like
not
popular?
really. I definitely
there are
think
some
I mean,
people,
Chad
I'm sure,
Wildclaw,
but even then,
Right.
all of his audience thinks it's real.
Yeah,
like it's not
that's
like
true.
they're all like
He
8-year-olds.
doesn't
Like
even have a disclaimer anywhere.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I don't think so.
think so.
Like,
I'm sure there's some fictional content. Like don't get me wrong. Like,
Yeah.
like a lot of the guys who do CGI and stuff like that. That's like, but
Yeah.
the whole point is it's like such a real gripping thing that
Yeah.
it's like you don't. The line is so blurred that they're gonna have. It's gonna transform them though.
they're
Like,
going to
if it's
have
good.
reactions on us as people that
Right.
aren't true.
Right.
Like,
Well,
and
it
that's
is
just
really
always
weird
gonna
though,
happen.
because like from my personal standpoint, like I was thinking about this on the way to work this morning. I was just like, I feel like a social experiment almost because I feel like not knowing what's going on and like me just reacting the way that I would react. Like I feel like you guys are like gauging my moral compass almost. Like where do my morals lie in situations like this where like, you know, where they were like with the comments that were like Bailey and Sam didn't do enough to stop Matt from acting
That's
this
tough.
way. I was like, oh shoot, like no, is there something wrong with me?
That
Like,
is
Yeah, it's
actually
I
well,
should have
really
very
tough.
spoken
fascinating.
up as a like I was like, is this a testament as to who I really am?
But-
It's hard because you
Well-
actually are being yourself.
Well,
like
but-
everyone else kind of knows what's
like
happening.
but
there's
my-
a direction. Sorry,
Yes,
there's
no,
a
sorry.
direction we're going, and you don't want to get in the way of that, right? It's not
Right.
necessarily you're like passive aggressive to the point where you won't stick up for your friend or anything. Like
Yeah,
that. It's just
right.
like, oh, I don't want to get in the middle of the story.
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
the other thing
And
too.
that was gonna be my point. Is like you do a very good job of sensing when like Matt is directing in the middle of a scene, or when Woods and I are leading the plot somewhere that it needs to go. Because like we film these videos in like 2 hours, like So
Yeah.
sometimes there are like, okay, we've been in here for too long, like we need to move on. And so, but that must be such an interesting experience of like reacting as yourself, but then still playing into the story. And so
Yeah.
like, how does that make people perceive you?
Totally. Well, I think especially in situations like this where we have two sides of a coin with like Woods trying to protect this family member and like trying to stand up for this person, and then Matt like just trying to do what he has to do and like not really respecting Woods' family member. Like I think it's weird because I'm like, do I support Woods and like not go with what I think like everyone wants me to do?
So
Like, it's
I
weird.
will
You don't have to go with
say,
anybody. You just-
yeah. So on that note, like I will say, go wherever you feel led.
Yeah.
Like by yourself,
Yeah.
not by myself, not by Woods, not by Matt, because that is the role that you play is however Bailey reacts.
Yeah.
And however, you as someone who is basically like an audience member, like in this story and everything, like you should feel free to speak up and like push against. And, obviously, like I said, there are some times where it's like, okay, that was the scene we needed. Like, let's move on.
Right, yeah.
But don't ever feel like, oh, okay, well, like this is where Matt's going with it. So like I can't bring up this good theory or point I just thought of. Like still always do that because that is the role. That's why
Yeah.
we have someone in the dark so that they can like
It also sometimes illuminates holes that we
totally.
weren't able to cover.
Yeah.
And also like, yeah, you don't have to like go for sides, because I think that one thing that you can get caught up in, and I guess, yeah, you specifically, because you're the one who doesn't know what's going on. But you and the audience, they do like, the Jacob and Edward thing where
Exactly,
it's like who's who, but it's like, well, everybody's on the team. It's just like, we've all made some mistakes, you know.
And
Yeah,
you
right.
can fully like
You
I'm
just gotta gauge it.
not trying to put anything in your head, but like there's a world where you just really decide to side with me for some reason, or you side with Woods, or you side with Matt, like, but it doesn't always need to be that extreme.
Yeah, right.
Or like
Or it does, you know.
or Bailey sides with Mike and she says, you know what,
I just quit. See, that's the thing is like I feel like I'm limited in a way to the point where like I can't be too extreme because I can't
Sure.
just like be like, well, I'm leaving in
Yeah,
case there was
yeah.
like something planned for me for
No,
some reason.
exactly,
Or like
honestly there's not that extreme, but
Yeah.
as far as the like taking sides or like
Yeah.
you know where you feel like you're being led, like you do have the flexibility there of whatever is natural, because like Wood said that does gauge a lot of the story direction for us and like where we think the audience is likely going to land too.
I think all that's right. I just don't think there should be even that much pressure on it in the sense that like I don't know. I think the world is more of like a reflection than it is a window. You know what I'm saying? So when all these people are in the comments really upset, I think they're upset at the part they hate about themselves more than anything else, right? Like someone's like, I hate that Matt's doing this. It's like, yeah, because you hate that part of you too. Like it's not like,
Dang,
yeah,
Tanner,
I think
getting
like
deep, huh?
well, no, I think it's just the truth. So that's why I don't look at like YouTube comments, like the YouTube comments that get me. Like I'm not always good at this, but I usually am like, oh, there's something about this that I really don't like about probably myself, you know. That's why I don't get like when someone's like balding, I joke about it. I think it's hilarious. 'Cause, like I know like I don't got like Woods' head of hair, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not hurt by it, but it's like, but when someone says something like that, like really like does hurt me, then I'm like, ooh, like I don't react positively to it.
You're just not like
Yeah.
you're not aware.
You're not aware of it, yeah. And so
Yeah.
I think that's all these people are, is they just turn into the keyboard warriors because they hate these things about themselves, and that's why they hate it. Like the world's not,
Yeah, or
is
I mean,
not
or-
uniquely exactly good or bad. I think it's like your interpretation of what's happening.
That's a very good
by
point.
Yourself, right?
Yeah.
So I think like all these people in the comments, like that's why what I say when I'm like, there's 1,000 people in the comments like, oh, I hated this, or these people are doing this, that's so dumb. Like this, because no, they hate that about themselves. Like they probably do that stuff. They probably feel certain ways. They probably are trying to overcorrect certain ways because of how passionately they feel the opposite. Like
Yeah.
they're just like they're so muted. Like. And so that's what I say. That's why when I say like, I mean, the whole mission of everything we're doing is like to transform, right? And to transform people. And you can't do that without having something to transform, right?
Yeah.
Like you can't transform good into good. Like, it's kinda like, you
true.
can make good bad people, but we're not aiming for that type of transformation, right? So like,
unless
Wow.
you can't make good people. Yeah. But I think that's the whole point is we're taking all these people that are like in the comments howling out there. And we're like, well, we're going to flip that on you for
Yeah.
you know?
Like,
And so
wait-
that's a
wait
sign we're
and
doing it
see this
right.
narrative through.
Yeah, and I think that's where there will be the catharsis. I think for all the audiences, like they're going to realize that they were the ones in the comments like I hated this, and then they're going to be at the end of the season like yeah, like in the comments
like,
cheering.
oh, yeah,
and then they're going to
no,
be like,
that's very
"Ah."
true.
You know, some of them will hit. They'll be like,
Yeah,
wow,
like they need that scene. They need that behavior in order for the
They need to be able to
the
look
ending
payoff.
of the payoff.
Yeah.
They need to
like-
see the comments between 2 months ago and now and be like,
That's-
oh,
Yeah.
that's gross.
That's one of the things that is like so like almost more frustrating to me sometimes though, when they're reacting in a way that we know they're going to react, but
they don't
but
know
they
that
don't
we know.
what's coming.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they don't know that we know that was planned, like a planned conflict or something, and they don't know like the either like plot twist or plot development or whatever that's going to happen down the line that is going to make them look back at that moment and go like, oh
Yeah.
That's the beauty of them not being able to binge watch it too, though. Like the
Yeah,
beauty is like
that's
if they
true.
could binge watch it, they'd be like, "Oh, I felt gross a couple seconds ago, but now it's all fixed."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Like no, they're gonna feel gross for like a week. You know what I'm saying? And then they're gonna see it and be
Good.
like,
Take a shower.
"Oh," you know, like it kind of like it makes you ponder on it for a little
Yeah.
bit. Like you process it.
Yeah.
Something really magical about that, you know?
Yeah.
So
I mean, I think that's like one of the best part of story though is feeling those emotions and like because if you didn't feel super negatively in the story then like the really good parts wouldn't feel as good, you know? So like you have to have that balance of the two of like feeling really angry and then something great happening and be like, "Oh, nice. It all worked out for the better."
Yeah.
everybody wants a feel good story until they have it and they're like, "Wow, that was boring."
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
It's like, well, that's the balance we get to play. We can either make the feel-good story that no one wants to watch, or we can make one that everyone's like passionately into, you know, where they're going to scream,
Yeah.
why is Woods leaving? I love him. Take it back. Why is Woods getting a good send off, but Mike didn't get a good send off?
That's another thing too.
Well, that's working into our
I
favor,
know.
all right? You feel like you've been wrong somewhere, so you're taking it out on us. We're going to change that up for you real quick. you
I
know?
thought about that, just that parallel. Like the second that I was putting the balloons up and everything for like the Woods' last day shoot, like Mike came through and I literally like was putting up a banner and then I turned and I looked at him and I was like, we didn't do this for you. So sad. And I just like felt like in character, even like bad. I was like, oh no, but I mean, I guess in story it's different because he left like much more
Yeah.
aggressively than
True.
Woods
He like
did.
straight like
He
quit
like
almost.
quit. Woods was like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, right.
I quit.
And also, you
Like
guys,
that.
you guys were like
Like that.
trying to keep me there. as
Exactly.
well.
We were trying
Still
to
want
keep you
you.
there,
Yeah.
like because we like there was still information we
Right.
needed. We
Yeah.
needed to get into your apartment.
Yeah.
Like,
Mike
it's
was
not like
long
we didn't care
gone.
about you, but like
Yeah, there's a
Mike,
little
We already
coercion.
got what we wanted.
we already got what we wanted.
Good riddance.
He's a lost
Yeah, he already
cause.
finished the season 3 album, so we said okay. He still works here, by the way, in case you forgot. Anyways,
Don't
Yeah,
ruin the
for all of
story.
yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think I will say I feel like the gray area is really back. Like everything I'm reading about, like it's so fascinating
No
when
one
I'm reading,
knows.
even on Spell like Roll 863 plus.
Yeah.
I read stuff there. I read stuff in the comments. You read the subreddit, and there's just like it is mind blowing how there's still so many like people who do know, like people who don't know, people who think they know, like the people who have the wrong information somehow. Like
Yeah.
it's like I don't know how you could only have like not the story. I don't know how you could like they're kind of intertwining their own piece of like false. It's so strange how
Yeah.
and it's kind of like helping the grayness of it all. You know, it's like it's such a gray area, and there's only the members that really are like no, and the people that I guess watch Behind 863
Yeah.
when
And I guess
we
you
were
get to
making
see
YouTube content.
see us like talk in these podcasts explaining it all.
Yeah, it's just so fascinating because, yeah, it's like I remember the comments in the older Project 863 videos. You read them and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh!" Like everyone's talking about how like the spell's broken. Oh, it's not real. Oh, this it's fiction. It's you know. And then now it's like you read the comments and I feel like nobody knows.
No.
Yeah.
They
It's
act
weird.
as if they don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like they're in on, but
Which
they're
is
in on
good.
like agreeing.
You're
They're
right.
like,
Yeah, well,
we
and
don't know.
I do, and this is something that I think is kind of fun and keeps the magic alive. There are a lot of people who know that it's a story, but comment as if they don't, because like I see the usernames, and sometimes like the first part of their comment will be like their in-story reaction, and then they'll do like enter parentheses like breaking the spell. Oh my god, guys, this
Yeah,
was such a
I
great
know.
video. Like the
They're
production on this was
playing
great.
the character.
Like yeah,
It's
like
so
people like
cute,
play it
yeah.
up, and that's what I'm like. Oh man, that's really fun. You're like letting yourself believe it for a
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah, I guess like when they comment too, because they're in the story, right?
Yeah.
And so I guess when they're commenting, they're going to be commenting in the story more so
Right.
than anything like that. But and yeah,
I mean, I think the same would go with any kind of like fictional story, right? Like people on forums and stuff. I mean, you know, for Netflix where there's no comment section, they'll be like, I hate what this character did in this episode, like acting as if it is actually happening. And that's what we want. And I think that the only thing that separates us is the fact that we're on YouTube, and typically YouTube content is not fictional. And so like, yeah, I'm super glad that people are accepting it for what it is and like going along with it, because that makes it so much more fun for us too.
indeed.
Indeedy dandy.
Tanner, do you have any comments for us to respond to?
We kind of already talked about the ones I wanted
Oh,
to. We
well,
just talked
never
more
mind.
generally. We did talk quite
I
generally
just
about
kind
them.
of like the. Is there a round of who said this?
Yeah, Tanner.
Not this week.
Ah,
I got to find a better way to find quotes, because that's the tough part is I can find quotes, but I can never find them in the episodes like easily. So like I can go to comments and people do the
you don't
comment
just
thing.
watch our videos and say that was funny.
Yeah, imagine like go back a year and then be like, okay, like I found this exact quote of this episode I've already watched, and it's like, all right, do I want to watch this entire episode to find out who
Yeah.
said this one phrase? No one ever leaves timestamps. If you're gonna quote something, timestamp your quote.
Or just say the name.
Yeah, but I also want the context. So when you guys ask me, like, when did I say that? I can be like, well, not that you're
You're
going
like
to say it
at
like that.
2219 in this video.
Yeah, this is why you said it. This is where you said it. This is how you
Just
said
go to one of our videos and then type in the comment search. Just like do quote, and then let
Oh,
the
yeah.
quotes pop up
Whoa,
Oh, that's
Command
actually-
F,
yeah.
You know.
That's not a bad idea.
on like a particular video, and then all the quotes might pop up.
it. Well said, Woods.
Maybe.
That's
Hey,
actually
you.
Or type in.
Go little rockstar.
Look at this guy go.
Yeah, that's my boy. I will do that.
That's
but
my boy.
I just want.
Oh
Oh, see, she gets
I
it.
just watched
She
that
got
like 2
it
days ago.
immediately.
Wait, hold on, I
God,
can
I
guess.
love you. Okay, ready?
My boy.
My boy! That's my boy! He's back! He's back!
I don't know anymore. Spider-Man?
What? You actually don't know?
I've heard it, but I don't know off the top of my head.
No,
was
Goblet
it?
of Fire, Harry Potter.
when
It's when
Cedric
Cedric
dies.
Diggory dies at the very end, and Harry, they like
Kiss?
whoosh back in,
Oh.
and that's Cedric's dad coming down from the stands going,
So sad.
'Cause his son's dead.
Because his son's dead. It's heartbreaking.
Diggory.
The moment
Yeah.
when things get real.
Yeah, and then that's Harry going, he's back.
Yeah.
Voldemort's
He's
back.
Did I not watch this?
Which is like, I must have
It's
been.
one of my favorite Harry Potter movies.
It's a good one.
Anyways,
hits.
sorry.
Thank you guys for watching this episode of Behind Age 3.
Tanner's like, we're cutting it.
We're going to cut it on that. I just wanted to talk a bit about the episodes that happened when we were gone, get us a little bit caught up. And then I wanted to talk a little bit about Christmas vacation stuff. So glad we got to catch up. Glad you guys got to tap into our lives a little bit. I hope you guys enjoy this stuff. Please comment down below what you want to see next, what your thoughts on it. Do it on 863 Plus. Do it on YouTube, wherever. We love reading it. Also, I'm working on making sure the videos are more viewable because Mighty Networks did something to their platform to where it's harder to view things in browser now.
Classic.
Which is the issue I brought up to Bailey. I was like, Bailey, I can't even watch the video on Google Chrome. And she's like, what? It works for me. It didn't work for me. And apparently I get comments all
works
the time
for
of people
me.
like, it's not working. I don't know
Yeah,
what to do.
I've seen those.
So I'm like, nightmare for status. So I'm just going to have to figure that out. But yeah, just keep commenting. And we love you guys. Thank you guys for watching and supporting us. We got more episodes coming out for the rest of time.
Rest of time.
Yeah,
Wow.
most likely, right? Forever. Forever.
Tanner's only 27, so,
Yeah.
we got a lot of time. Anyways, bye.